Hello and welcome to the last, most exciting session of the day. I am here with Cynthia Barnes, who's going to talk to us today about how to close deals in 2025 with a lot of confidence. Over to you, Cynthia, for the session, and I shall see you at the end of 30 minutes.
Fantastic. Hello, everyone. How are you? How are we doing today? I'm going to open up the chat so I can interact with you. I think I'm in the right spot. If you are here, hey, there we go. There we go. Thank you, George. Vivi, I think I pronounced your name right. Andrea or Andrea, thank you. Clayton, all these. Elizabeth, Salim. Actually, it says where you are. I want to know how many of you want to know the secret to closing sales confidently without being pushy? Or do you want to be pushy? Do you want to be salesy? Yes. Yes. Ooh, okay. I get it. I get it. I get it. So I got to ask this question. Why is it that in 2024, if we all know that people hate to be sold to, but everyone likes to buy, why are we still using antiquated, outdated, pushy sales tactics that turn buyers off? Hmm. Tell me in the chat why you think we are. Is it because no one's come up with a better way? Something to think about. We don't know better. It's easy. Ooh, okay. Habit. The gurus say so. Okay. I'm going to Dr. Phil you. How's that working for you? Let me know in the chat. Is it working? Is it working? Is it really working? Is it that we've always done it this way? Or is there an opportunity for us to say, instead of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, is there an opportunity for us to say, if it's not perfect, keep working? That's what I started to think about when I looked at sales approaches and traditional sales approaches. And I started to ask myself, in a world where traditional sales approaches got us this far, what would happen if we took traditional sales approaches and challenged the status quo? What if we kind of knocked them on its ear and said, let's level up? So I took the best of what I know and what I've researched and what I've experimented with and what I have experienced in my long, long path of sales. And I said, I'm going to take what I love and I'm going to leave the rest. And what I'm about to share with you today is the best of the best in closing. Are you ready? If you're ready, give me a thumbs up or a yes in the I see thumbs. Yes, I love that. Okay. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. I love GIFs. Okay. All righty. Here we go. So I want to officially welcome you. I'm excited to introduce a unique sales framework that is going to change the way you approach closing deals. You see, this just isn't about sealing the deal, it's about transforming your buyer into the hero of their own story. And there is a difference. So think about this question for a moment. What if closing a sale wasn't just about sealing a deal? But what if it was about transforming the buyer into that hero? What if it was about taking your buyer on a personal journey toward their success? You see, that's the shift we're going to explore today. Before we dive deeper, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Cynthia Barnes, and I've spent 15 plus years working in sales and building sales teams and guiding teams through transformational sales techniques. I specialize in helping sales professionals build lasting client relationships through authentic and empowering sales approaches. Nothing wrong with traditional sales approaches. I got to the top 1% using them. But again, like I said earlier, there's an opportunity, if it's not perfect, to keep working. And that's the philosophy I subscribe to. So, my mission today is to share a framework that goes beyond those traditional sales methods, something that not only closes deals, but creates a meaningful, lasting impact. So, that's what we're going to do today. So, now let's get into how this approach can reshape your sales conversations by focusing on your buyer's journey and making them the hero of the story. Every buyer has two paths in front of them. They can stay comfortable with the status quo, or they can take the leap into something new. Every buyer you face in a B2B or in a B2C sales transaction has stakeholders. Those stakeholders are going to judge your buyer on whether or not they made a good buying decision. So let's say you're in B2B sales, your buyer is debating whether or not to go with you over another vendor because they want to make sure that they don't look like a fool if your product or service fails them. You got to think about that. So, trust is a huge component of being able to close a deal. You want to make them comfortable enough so that they can advocate for you, because when their boss says, "Hey, Charlie, why did you choose XYZ vendor?" You want Charlie to say, "Well, I chose them because," and you want Charlie to be able to confidently advocate for you. Remember, it's not just about Charlie's decision to choose you, it's about the entire team and his stakeholders choosing you as well. That being said, you've got to give Charlie enough talking points and ammunition for him to go into the room and say, "This company is the best because of this, and this." And he's proud to represent his choice in choosing you. So when we are in a sales transaction, our job is not to push our buyer. It's to guide them, to show them what's possible, and to empower them to make that leap with confidence. Buyers are looking for more than just products. They want solutions that make them feel like they're progressing. And they want partners that have some skin in the game as well. And here's the thing, it's a mindset shift. You are not the hero in this story. You are, let me just say this, your role is even more important because your buyer is the hero of the story. You're the guide who takes your buyer on the journey. You're the one who helps them navigate their challenges and reach their goals. When we stop positioning ourselves as the center of the conversation and start empowering our buyers, the entire dynamic changes. So often, sales professionals get in and we data dump, we vomit all of these great things about our product or service, and we expect our buyer to say, "Okay, I'll buy it." That's not what I'm asking you to do. What I'm asking you to do is take the spotlight off of yourself and your product or service and put it on your buyer. Make them feel like they're the most important person in the room. Make them feel like they are making the decision, not like you are convincing them to make a decision. And there's a difference. Remember, no one likes to be sold to, but everyone likes to buy. So, the framework I'm going to introduce will take you beyond typical closing techniques. It's about creating a journey where the buyer feels in control of their own decisions, because when they do, they move forward and they're most likely to buy. We're going to talk about trust, confidence, and creating a powerful vision for your buyer. Trust is a huge component. If people don't trust you, they will not let you lead them where you ultimately want them to go. And speaking of leading, when you think of leading, I want you to think more of guiding them, gently touching them on the elbow and saying, hey, come with me over here, rather than taking them by the nose and saying, hey, I want you to follow me over here. There's a difference. One is more of a gentle nudge, and the other one is pulling them. We don't want to pull our buyers. We want them to willingly go. This is not a forceful type of thing. So when we focus on the buyer's journey, the sale becomes more than just a transaction. It becomes a moment of transformation for them, which builds loyalty, trust, and long term relationships. You don't just win the sale, you create an impact that lasts far beyond the initial decision. And that's what separates good closers from great ones. So let's dive into the framework. Now that we've set the stage, let's get into the meat and potatoes. This framework is designed to transform your sales conversations, shifting the focus from transactional to truly transformational. Ready to dive in? So let's begin with the hero's journey and see how this approach works step by step. In this framework, the buyer is the hero of their own story. We're not the ones doing the heavy lifting. Instead, we empower them to succeed. Our role is to guide, equip, and support them rather than trying to be the hero ourselves. And for a lot of sales professionals, they're not comfortable not being the center of attention. They're very uncomfortable not being the expert in the room. That is going to be a mindset shift for a lot of us, because gurus always tell you you need to be the subject matter expert. You need to be the one in charge of the conversation. I'm challenging you and I'm asking you, begging you, can you please put down the ego and put the focus on your buyer and making them feel like they are making a decision based upon their needs, and you are helping them make that decision rather than you are taking them to where you want them to go. There's a difference. So, this shift from salesperson driven to buyer driven is what makes this approach so powerful. So, the first thing we want to do is start by painting a vivid picture of what success looks like for our buyer. They need to connect emotionally with their desired future state before they even start considering solutions. So, for example, you'll use phrases like, imagine your team 6 months from now, or picture yourself having already solved this challenge. It's about tapping into their imagination, making them visualize a successful outcome. If they can visualize it, then you're more likely to get them on board with what you are going to present. If they can't see it, they can't be it. I know you've heard that phrase before. It applies in so many different applications. What I'm going to do right now is go back to the chat and see if there are any questions. So hold on with me. Any questions? Okay. Natalie, I like that. Any questions? Yep, they do, Natalie. People both buy from people they know, like, and trust. Yes. I see lots of connection requests on LinkedIn. Okay, okay. I hope you all connect. Yes. All right, good. If you have any questions at all while we're going, please put them in the chat because I want to answer them. Okay. And if we happen to run out of time, then you can always connect with me on LinkedIn, or I think she's going to put the link to my calendar. So if you have a question that you're not quite comfortable asking, book some time with me. Be more than happy to take some time with you. Okay. In the buyer's journey, we're the guide, not the hero. Again, we're going to check our ego at the door. We provide the roadmap, the compass, and the support they need to navigate the decision-making process. This approach is all about empowering the buyer. It's not, here's how I can help, but here's how you can succeed with the right strategy. Do you see the difference in those approaches? Can you see how telling someone, I can help you, is different than, here's how you can succeed with the right strategy? In the chat, tell me if you can conceptualize that difference. It's psychology. It's empowering me to make a decision about my future. It's like if you go to the doctor and they say, here's a prescription and here's some drugs, I want you to take them. Imagine if your healthcare provider actually sat down with you and said, here are the options you have. Based upon the course of action that I think is best, which one would you like to take? What? I'm sorry, you're giving me a choice based upon my needs, my wants, and my values? You are more likely to comply with doctor's orders if you have a say in the course of treatment. Would you agree? But if a doctor says, I want you to do this, I want you to cut out all the salt and no fried foods, and I want you to walk an hour a day, you're going to say, okay. However, if you are given the option to choose your own healthy path, you're more likely to comply. Same thing with your buyer. Give them options so they feel empowered to partner with you rather than being told, well, here's what I think. They really don't care what you think. They care how you are going to give them the tools to make a decision based upon their needs, right? It's not about us. It's not about us. Okay. Your buyer needs to feel that you are there to amplify their capabilities, not overshadow them. Remember when I talked about Charlie and how he needs to go back to his stakeholders and he needs to feel empowered. He needs to save face so that if something goes wrong, he doesn't get embarrassed. He doesn't need someone saying, well, the rep said this. He needs to be able to walk into that room like the rock star he is. So help him do that. Remember, everyone wants to feel like the most important person in the room. So when we check our ego at the door and give our buyers the empowerment and the tools to succeed, we do just that. There's an old saying that says, people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. You will catch a lot more clients with that approach than by showing off how smart you are and how much you can help them. I know this is unorthodox and I know it goes against everything the gurus say, but try it. I think you will find that this approach leads to longer lasting relationships, more referrals, better outcomes, and more transparency when it comes to the actual close. All right, let's get to the next part. All right. So this is the tipping point where the buyer goes from considering to committing. Here, we create a moment of reflection where they recognize the cost of staying where they are. So here's where you're going to ask reflective questions like, What's the real cost of inaction? Like the consequence. How would it feel to know this challenge is solved? So you're getting them in that creative side of their mind so that they can visualize what it's like to solve this problem, to walk into the boss's office and say, guess what? I finally found a solution to the problem that we have been experiencing for the last 18 months. Imagine the chest swell that he has when he walks in. Imagine the pride that he has. Imagine the post that he puts on social media. He's the man. Help him feel that way, and you will never go hungry. Your quotas will be exceeded every time, every month, because people are going to love you and they're going to tell their friends about you. Again, how do you help others solve their problems? How do you empower others to solve their problems? Right? It's about helping them realize that doing nothing has consequences and moving forward is the only logical step. Painting that visual picture in their mind is powerful. If you don't do that, though, then the engagement is transactional and not relational. It has to be relational, or else you are just simply Google, and your buyers pay you to tell them something that they cannot Google. If you can't do that, and if you can't get into the emotion, then why have you? You are so important to the sales process. Never forget that. Never, ever forget that. And here's how you do it. At this point, we shift to reinforcing their identity as someone who takes decisive action. We want them to feel confident in their ability to make the right decision. So we're going to use language like, you're the type of leader who doesn't wait for the perfect moment. You make things happen, don't you? We are edifying. We're not blowing smoke. We are edifying. So, whatever you say to edify, make sure that it is authentic because people can feel when you are blowing smoke in their ear. We can all feel that, right? In the chat, tell me when you have felt someone who wants to sell you something and they're just blowing smoke in your ear, right? You felt that. You felt that inauthentic, disingenuous compliment. It feels icky. And you're like, really? That's all you've got? Is just that's the best you've got? But we can pay genuine compliments. And when we do, when we have that trust and transparency, it makes both parties feel good. You feel an oxytocin hit because you are edifying genuinely and authentically. Your buyer feels good because we love to receive praise. The goal is to amplify their self confidence, showing them that this decision aligns with who they are or who they want to be. You see, in 2025, it's not about the confidence you have, it's about the transference of confidence to your buyer. I bet you when you signed up for this, you thought, I'm going to learn how to be more confident closer. Kinda, kinda. The confidence that your buyer has in their ability to make a right decision, priceless, priceless. So, next, we tackle any potential resistance head on, but we do it in a way that frames challenges as part of their growth journey. For example, you'll say something like, this step might feel big, but every great decision comes with a bit of risk. It's a sign that you're on the right path. This reframes the hesitation not as something negative, but as something positive as a part of their journey. So if they're feeling hesitant, if they're feeling butterflies, if they're feeling icky, address it head on and say, you know what? It's quite normal for you to be hesitant at this point. It's a big decision. It's supposed to feel that way. So now they're like, oh, okay. She has validated why I feel this way. It's okay. Let's proceed. Sales is so much psychology. So before asking for the final decision, give your buyer a small win. Let them experience a taste of success. And here's what it looks like. For example, you can say, once we start, you'll see an immediate improvement in, and then you can put in the time frame. This builds momentum and confidence, making it harder for them to back away from the decision because they already see themselves succeeding. You see, in the beginning of your call, you have started by getting them to paint that mental picture. So this is not going to seem foreign. They've already done it throughout the call. So now when you say, you're going to see this, they are in their mind, because they've already been seeing things. Now they are going to continue to see themselves succeeding. When it's time to close, make it a celebration, not just a transaction. The buyer should feel like they're crossing a threshold, achieving something significant. They should feel like they're walking into a social hour after work. And when they say, "Hey, Charlie, what's been up? What's been going on?" Charlie says, "You are not going to believe this. I was finally able to solve the problem that my department has been struggling with for 18 months." Imagine the relief, the pride, the chest swell. Charlie is the man. That's what you want Charlie to feel when he is empowered to make a decision to buy your product or service. It's not about you providing it, it's about you empowering him to choose it. You can say something like, "This is the moment where everything changes for you, Charlie. Looking back, this is going to be the day you took control." By framing it this way, you're making the decision to feel like a victory, a personal milestone, rather than just closing a deal. You're making this an event. And if you think about this, people pay for experiences, and they value experiences more than they value things. Your kids will value a trip to Disney World because of Mickey and Goofy and the fireworks and Cinderella, more so than they will a gift that's in the palm of their hand. It's the experiences that we treasure. So when you celebrate their decision to buy, your buyer's decision, create an experiential moment for them. Applaud them on their decision to take control of that moment and change the trajectory of their department. Now, I want to give you a few bonus techniques to really elevate your closing game. Number one is the emotional anchor. Tie their decision to something deeply personal. Ask about what drives them, then circle back to it at the close. A future testimonial. Project them into the future. Have them imagine their team talking about the successes they achieved. And then the last one is an unspoken challenge. Use silence and calm confidence to challenge them to take the leap. A simple, "You've got this," followed by silence can work wonders. To sum up, the buyer's hero journey is a transformational approach to sales closing. It's not about pressure. It's about guiding your prospect through their journey and empowering them to make a decision. Remember, they are the hero. You are their trusted guide. When they win, you win. Thank you very much.
Cynthia, thank you so much.
Jared, did you freeze? Where did you go? I can't hear you, Jared. Did I lose you? Uh-oh. John Allison, did you really just say we went to church? Hey, Jared.
Can everybody hear me? Cynthia
Barely.
included? Okay, I'm gonna pass it to somebody else to close.
And Pragya is back, not Jared, because he's having tech issues. And yes, somebody did say they just went to church. Cynthia, that was amazing. That was such an amazing session. I actually did have one question for you that I thought
Yes.
was very interesting. I'm going to scroll all the way back to find it.
Okay.
It was from Ashley. How do you balance the customer's ego so that they are the buyer with the concept of you bringing expertise to the table so that they trust you are going to take them on the best journey?
Great question. When you approach that sales transaction, sales engagement through a lens of curiosity, and I did not talk about the discovery section, when you are asking those questions have to position you as the knowledgeable authority. So make sure you ask questions that dive deep into what an expert would ask, not just surface level questions. Ask questions that one of their peers would ask. You see the difference? So, what that looks like is this: you go into your ideal buyer's LinkedIn profile, you scroll to the bottom, and you see the groups they're in. You join those groups and you lurk. Don't ask any questions, don't engage with anybody, but you lurk because you want to know, what is it that they're talking about? You're going to find some things that your buyer is talking about that you have no idea what they mean. Then you go and you research. So now when you get on the call with that buyer, you can ask intelligent, thought-provoking questions about what's going on in the industry, trends, supply chain, whatever it is, that it's like insider knowledge. And he or she's going to say, dang, why would they ask me this? This must not be your average mediocre rep. You don't have to talk about how smart you are. You can just ask the right questions.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Yeah. Steve, they get me. Your buyer should say, dang, has he been reading my journal? Yeah. Any other questions for me? And John, if you do want to take an offering, my Cash App is no, I'm just kidding.
Thank
Oh,
you
this is
so
good.
much. Thank you so much, Cynthia. I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
take everybody else who's in the audience. If you want to stay back and do a one-on-one networking session with each other, we have that coming up next, so that you can meet other people who are part of this session, part of RevCon, and say hello to each other. And I am so sorry, Jared, that your internet isn't working. If you want to come back on, I can give it a shot once again and see if your internet is working now. But otherwise, yes, otherwise, let's move to the one on one networking, everybody. And thank you once again, Cynthia. This was an amazing, amazing session. You were phenomenal.
Thank you so much. And because they asked about my Cash App, I put it in there. It's Cash Money Barnes. Just because.
Amazing. Let's go.
Thank you, everyone, for having me. This has been so much fun. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. Please sign up for a virtual latte. Let's get to know each other. And I am so excited to see the magic you create. So let me know about your successes. I'll see you soon.
Bye bye.